I did until he joined the SCAA.
Oh, he's gone. Shows
Yeah. Yeah, I now work for the SCAA.
And you work for the SCAA?
Yeah.
And you are?
I'm Peter.
Oh, you are Peter.
Yeah, you don't recognize me. I grew a beard.
Okay, are you going to give us the countdown?
Countdown's already happened. You're live.
All right. Okay. Well, welcome to the Virtual Coffeehouse. I'm Allison Aubrey of NPR News, and I'm joined by my colleague.
I'm Dan Charles. Thanks you all for joining us.
So I wanted to let our guests introduce themselves first, and we can start with you, Mark.
Okay, I'm Mark Pendergrast. I wrote a book called Uncommon Grounds, The History of Coffee and How It Transformed Our World.
All right. Kim?
My name's Kim Elena Ionescu, and I am the Sustainability Manager and one of the coffee buyers at Counterculture Coffee, which is a roasting company based in Durham, North Carolina.
Excellent. And Peter?
My name's Peter Giuliano. I'm the Director of Symposium for the Specialty Coffee Association of America.
Got it. You know, we put a call out to our listeners and to readers this morning, asking them their questions. We heard back from quite a few people. Gopal Raw wrote in to say it does not take much effort to find bags of coffee with labels that promise social and environmental improvements. His specific question was about certifications and in particular direct trade. When you hear something that coffee is direct trade, what exactly does that mean, and does direct trade have a certification? I thought maybe, Kim, you could help answer that question.
Yeah, sure. So I totally hear the confusion around certifications in general, and especially around direct trade certification, because most of the companies that use the term direct trade aren't actually certifying their practices. Counterculture is a little bit different in that respect, in that when we developed this, and we were one of a number of roasters to sort of start using this language around the same time, about 5 years ago, we decided to get an auditor involved to do an audit or a third-party verification of,
and that's what happens with certification programs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's a key component of certifications, is having someone sort of look over whatever it is that you say that in your certification you are doing. So in our case, that means bringing in someone to look at records for travel and contracts and the scores that we award coffee. But again, that's sort of unusual, and most of the time it refers, instead of to a sort of specific set of verified practices, more to a philosophy of how relationships are built between growers and buyers, and how sort of trust and negotiations happen.
Got it.
Actually, I have a follow-up question on the certifications. One comment that I got, and I'd be curious if you have any knowledge of this, is that some people say that much of the coffee that's labeled organic maybe isn't grown under the kind of organic arrangements that would qualify under sort of, USDA certified organic. Is there a problem with the organic label? Is it misused as far as you know?
No, I would say that it's not misused. I think that there are probably instances in coffee agriculture, just as with many other kinds of agriculture, where what the inspector is inspecting and what the certification actually measures might be different from the consumer perception of what's measured. And also, there are situations where cooperatives of 1,000 members might be certified, and some statistically significant number of those farms might be visited on a given year by a certifier. So, not every farm might get that outside inspector's, view every year. But I don't think that there is a question that when a certifier is certifying to the USDA standard and putting that seal on the bag, that somehow there was a confusion as to whether or not the farm is actually organic.
Yeah, I'll just add to that, Dan. I've heard that a couple of times in my career, but I was a traveling coffee buyer for over a decade, and I never saw an example of that. I think that fairly qualifies as one of those myths that people talk about sometimes.
Yeah, good to know.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a comment, if I may, about organic coffee in general. They're absolutely right that I think the organic certification is meaningful, it's transparent, and it's good. Two comments. One is organic coffee is not